I call the meeting to order. Please rise for the national anthem.
चल चलति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Please be seated. My dear Rotarians and spouses, guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Pune, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to this weekly meeting. A very warm welcome to Army Commander General CP Mohanty, sir. We welcome you to this meeting. General Mohanty is our guest speaker today. He is highly decorated with Ati Vishishta Seva Medal, Sena Medal, Vishishta Seva Medal. General, we welcome you on behalf of the Rotary Club of Pune. Lieutenant General Mohanty will be speaking to us on global and regional scan, challenges and opportunities for Indian Armed Forces in COVID environments. Soon we will be listening to General, and before that, I would like to convey the birthday greetings to our Rotarians and ants. Major General Amar Krishna will be celebrating his birthday on 15th July. Happy birthday, Amar. And Kanji Rugal, his birthday on 15th July. Kanji, wish you happy birthday. Our Rotarian past President Ashok Party will be celebrating his birthday on 18th July. Ashok, wish you happy birthday. And Anne Renu Gupta will be celebrating her birthday on 19th of July. Renu, wish you very, very happy birthday. Our Rotarian past President Lakshman and Indira will be celebrating their wedding anniversary on 14th July. Lakshman and Indira, wish you very happy your wedding anniversary. God bless you all. The Rotarians and friends, at this juncture, I would request our Secretary, Rotarian Colonel Moses, to give his announcement.
President Rotarian Deepak Londe, Rotarians and ants, spouse and guests. The speaker for our next meeting to be held on Monday, the 20th July 2020 shall be Dr. Suchita Unithan, MD, PhD, MBA. She is an expert on Eastern health systems like yoga, meditation, and Reiki. Has a clinic in Pune and Dubai. She shall speak to us on the topic maximizing health potential for a beautiful life. Attendance. Monday the 6th July was an all-important installation meeting of the President and Board of Directors for the Rotary year 2020-21. It was held online, well attended. Rotarians 46 and 30, spouse 2, guest 22, a total of 100. Truly a century meet. A video broadcast was on Facebook Live and was viewed by 1,400 visitors. Lastly, all other clubs in our district will meet as per their schedule. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian Colonel Moses. Now may I call upon our Vice President, Major General Rumi Jambasarwala, to introduce our chief guest, none other than Lieutenant General CP Mohanty, Army Commander. Over to Rumi, please.
President, Rotarians, and ANDs. It is indeed my proud privilege to introduce our speaker for today, who incidentally happens to be the first speaker for this Rotary year, none other than our first honorary member, Lieutenant General CP Mohanty, AVSM, SM, VSM, General Officer Commanding in Chief, Southern Command. The Army Commander is an alumni of the RIMC, the NDA, and the IMA. Commissioned in the Rajput Regiment in 1982, he has qualified on all the prestigious military courses like Staff College course, the Higher Defense Management course, and the National Defense College course. In an illustrious career spanning more than 38 years, he has served across a wide spectrum of conflict and terrain profiles and has tenanted a host of command, staff, and instructional appointments. He has been a company commander in a counter-terrorism environment in JNK, a battalion commander on the line of control in JNK, and also in the Northeast, where he led his battalion in counter-insurgency operations in Assam in the famous Operation All Clear. He has the distinction of having commanded 2 brigades. The first on the line of actual control against China. Later on, he was nominated to command the multinational United Nations Brigade in Congo. It was here that he was awarded the Sena Medal for leading a number of heli-borne operations against armed insurgent groups. He then commanded a division in a counter-insurgency environment in Assam. His division played a stellar role in breaking the back of the Bodos and the Alpha terrorists, thus bringing back peace to Assam. For this, he was awarded the Ati Vishish Seva Medal. He has excelled himself not only in operations, but also in logistics. He was appointed as the Director General Operational Logistics and Strategic Movement at the Ministry of Defense in Delhi. He thereafter went on to command the elite 33 Corps at Sikkim, facing the Chinese at Doklam. He has been a GOC of a sub-area as a Major General and a GOC of an area as a Lieutenant General. Other appointments he has held are Instructor NDA, Brigade Major of an Armored Brigade, a Military Attaché at Seychelles, the Colonel MS Selection Boards in the MS branch. By the way, he held this appointment exactly 15 years after I held this appointment. I did a brigade, and he has also done a Brigadier General Staff operations of a corps in the Eastern sector. He holds an MPhil from the Madras University and a master's degree in management studies. He is a leading authority on China, a good sportsman and a yoga enthusiast. His spoken reputation amongst his peers and subordinates is excellent, in that he firmly believes that it is more important to be loyal to your juniors rather than to only your superiors. Mrs. Mohanty is a distinguished academician in her own right, a gold medalist in classical dancing. She has been the perfect foil for her husband in their passion for caring for the families of other ranks, especially so for the Veer Naris. They have a son doing PhD studies in the US while he is employed by GE Healthcare. Ladies and gentlemen, please join your hands to welcome the Army Commander. Over to you, sir.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I must confess that it is a rare opportunity and a first of its kind when I'm addressing such a large gathering through the video conferencing system. I must thank you all, particularly the Honorable President, Mr. Deepak Londe, Secretary, Colonel Moses, and Gen Jambu Sarwala for inviting me to deliver this talk. I'm also honored to be taken in as the honorary member by the Rotarians. For me, it's a matter of pride that my father was also a Rotarian. A lot has been spoken by General Jambu Sarwala about me. My experiences, I have mostly been opposite the Chinese. So, since this happens to be my strength, I would talk a little longer about the affairs as far as China is concerned and whatever the role of China in today's COVID environment. As Jambu Sarwala mentioned, this is my third tryst with Pune. First as a cadet, second as an instructor, as a captain. That also happened to be my first station after I got married, and now the third time. This year is particularly special for us because it happens to be the 350th year of capture of Fort Kondana, commonly called now as Singer Fort. And as cadets, we get enough of punishment climbing up to Singer Fort. It also is the 340th death anniversary of the father of guerrilla warfare of the world, that is Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Ji. Incidentally, most of us feel that Che Guevara is the father of guerrilla warfare. It is not true. It was actually Chhatrapati Maharaj Shivaji who was the father of the guerrilla warfare in the world. I am fully aware of the contributions of Rotary Club since the 60s, be it earthquake in Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Latur, Bhuj, and anywhere in South India. The contributions have been immense of the Rotarians. In addition to that, your capacity building that you all have done for enhancing the capacity of the hospitals, conducting blood donation camps, road constructions. In fact, I was also happy to note that you have been pioneers of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan well before it became a buzzword in India. Water harvesting and establishment of the trauma centers, training of the paramedics, and conduct of the blind workshops. Hats off to all of you, all the Rotarians. You have done the nation proud. Now, getting on to the COVID-19, the world has seen a number of pandemics in the human history. But what is important that particularly every year, every century around this time, the pandemics have been coming repeatedly. Out of the great pandemics in the world, first one which is recorded almost at the same time was 1720, the Great Plague of Marseilles, which led to 1 lakh deaths. Next century, around same time, 1817 to 24, came cholera, 1 lakh deaths. Then again 100 years later, from 1918 to 1920 came Spanish flu. Some people say it took away 17 million lives. Some reports say it is 100 million lives, but let's put it at a pragmatic figure of about 50 million. That was the figure. And most importantly, from 1981 till date, AIDS has taken 50 million lives in the entire world. As far as COVID-19 goes, it started again a century later, in 2019 towards the end. Now it is open-ended. We don't know when it is going to finish. Hopefully this year or next year. Now what is important is that because of the communications have been improved, the figures are mind-boggling. In the entire world so far, if I have just to rattle out the figures as of this morning, it is 1.3 crores who have been infected in the entire world. 75 lakhs have recovered. That takes a figure of 58%. Active cases are 48 lakhs and there have been 5.4 lakhs deaths till now. It is 4.1%. India, 8.8 lakhs and just about in last 24 hours there have been addition of 30,000 plus. Recovered are 5.54, that is 63%. Active cases today we've got 3 lakhs plus, which is 34%. However, the fortunate thing is that the deaths are 23,000 approximately, which comes to 2.6%. While these are numbers, but the ones who have lost their near and dear ones, for them it's an irreparable loss. Maharashtra itself, which stands at number 1 today in terms of the infections, total are 5.24 lakhs, of which active are 1.303 lakhs, recovered are 13,700, and we've lost so far more than 10,000 people. Pune, once again, is the third most affected city in the nation, which 37,000 plus affected, of which recovered are 22,000, and it has recorded almost 1,100 deaths. Southern states, which is the area of responsibility of the Southern Command, there are a total of 7 states out of the 10 worst affected states which are in the area of responsibility of ours. Total of 5.5 lakhs are infected and there have been 17,000 deaths. Maharashtra is at number 1, Tamil Nadu number 2, Gujarat is at number 4, Telangana is at number 6, and Karnataka is at number 7. Amongst the cities most affected, Mumbai stands at number 1 today, Thane at 3 and Pune at 4. Other than these nations or these states, the other nations which have been worst affected in the world, US is at number 1, recorded deaths are 1.38 lakhs out of the 34 lakhs which have been infected so far. Brazil is at number 2 and we Indians are at number 3. Other than that, Russia is at number 4 and rest of the list are of the American and European countries. This is just to talk about the effect of the impact of COVID in the world today. What has changed for us after the COVID has come into our life? This is perhaps something very few of us have seen, a worse calamity in the world so far. It has changed our outlook. It has changed our way of working and our way of living. Practically, each one of us has become part doctors, We are introspective. The learning curve, not only for us as individuals, but also for the world, it continues to happen. It continues to rise. WHO itself is changing its own guidelines. There are doubts in our mind, and there is somewhat, unfortunately, there is a lack of faith amongst all of us. Nobody trusts nobody. The only thing that has happened today is that our life has slowed down. We have started caring for the near and dear ones. Virtually, we all are together, but not in real terms. The world continues to battle. However, the good news is that today there is an opportunity for India. India has become aware of its potential, and also our self-sustenance is improving manifold. Talking a little about the global scan, this has been the worst crisis for the humanity, and because we all are so well connected, the world has become a global village. We are connected, we are also become competitors. We cannot live without one another, the nations per se. However, at the same time, we have no other option but to blame each other, because these are the challenging times. The sole superpower today, that is USA, it has almost lost its sheen as a leadership. It is the worst affected. The casualties continue to rise. The elections are around the corner. And at this moment, they have lost their faith in the WHO and they've decided to withdraw. It is same for other American nations also. Brazil being one of the leaders, and sooner or later, USA is going to lose its #1 position. While at the same time, under Donald Trump, they have started looking inwards, totally concentrating in the country. They have thrown caution to the winds. They have also forgotten that they've got accountability and responsibilities for the rest of the world. Europe, they also continue to struggle because of the pandemic. They are again very badly affected. There is economic downturn, because of which Europe itself is not able to live up to the expectations of the rest of the world. What is happening today? There is one cause for which world unfortunately stands united. It is in hatred for China. Whether it is the West, it is Australia, ASEAN, and even a large number of countries of Africa. They are the ones who stand united against China today. The only countries, the three countries which favor China are Pakistan, North Korea, and Iran. Now, China itself, let me talk a little more about China. It is Wuhan. Whether it was a deliberate attempt or it was an accident, it's a matter of debate. The fact is, it is well known that WHO probably was being manipulated to become a puppet in their hands. Look at a situation when Wuhan is barely about 800 kilometers from Shanghai, 8 hours away. Beijing, 1100 kilometers, 12 hours away. Not a single soul had been infected either in Shanghai or Beijing. None of the leaders has been infected. So therefore, what does it get us to deduce from this? It's a matter of guesswork. But today it is an opportunity for China as a middle kingdom. They are emerging out of the century of humiliation to claim their position as the leading world power, even beating US. It is an opportunity for them while the world battles the Wuhan crisis. They want to seize the entire world from the time of abiding, waiting for their opportunity to emerge. Today their opportunity has perhaps come. But they have thrown the word peace to the winds. Right now it is an opportunity and they are exploiting this opportunity. They have a strong leader who is Xi Jinping, who is visionary, extremely autocratic, ambitious. He is going to be the leader for life. The country as such has prepared long enough, militarily, economically. From being a brown water navy, today they are a blue water navy, and they are going, in fact, they're doing the power projection even in the Indian Ocean. There has been an economic takeover from the US. There is a clash of interests. And sooner or later, they're going to become the sole superpower. It's a matter of time when it will happen. Many of you would have seen the grand military parade in Zurich in the year of 2017, the month of August, to celebrate the 90th anniversary of the People's Liberation Army. There are two timelines which are very, very significant for China. One is the 100th year of the CCP, that is Communist Party of China, which is going to be celebrated next year, 2021. And their aspiration to become a global power, an unchallenged global power, that is by 2049. That will be the 100th year of the establishment of the People's Republic of China. From currently being one country, two systems, they are aspiring to become a united China. There are internal separations. It is in Tibet. They have already done the unification. It is completely. Hanization of Tibet is also been completed. Province of Xinjiang, they have gone in for the re-education camps. The human rights abuses, there is no limit to that. What has happened? They have kept it completely under the wraps. However, today, there is not much which is coming out of Xinjiang. Similarly, Hong Kong, you are aware of the security law that has been enforced now. What will happen to Hong Kong is a matter of debate. The time will again tell. Ladies and gentlemen, it is often talked about the 6 wars of China. Some experts have predicted that China is going to fight 6 wars up to 2060 to regain their position as the Middle Kingdom. First is going to be unification of Taiwan. This they intend to achieve by 2025. The second war is in the South China Sea to regain the control of Spratly Islands from Japan. This is to be done in the next 5 years up to 2030. South Tibet, that is India itself, further part of it. As they say, Tibet is the palm and the 5 fingers are Ladakh, Nepal, Sikkim, Bhutan and Arunachal Pradesh. Now this unification is to take place by 2040. Then the next war that they expect to fight is for the recapture or regaining Senkaku Islands and Ryukyu Islands, both of them from the East China Sea, from the current control of Philippines. And then comes the chance of Outer Mongolia, looking northwards, and finally to get their land from Russia up to 2060. Now, the entire warfare, although it appears far-fetched, no nation can fight so many wars one after another, but the entire character of warfare has changed. They are prosecuting this warfare through economy and diplomatic means. The economic subversion, the debt trap through the BRI, land lease for various bases in the countries, smaller countries like Maldives, Djibouti, Myanmar, Tajikistan, where they have established military bases in all these countries. And recently, you are aware of what is happening in Hong Kong. They have taken complete control. Carrie Lam is in their hands now. Handover was done in 1997, and thereafter, right now, it is wreathing under tremendous amount of violence. There are citizens who are being suppressed. So therefore, once again, let's see what happens. The South China Sea, East China Sea, Japan, Australia, Vietnam, Philippines, South Korea, and Taiwan. These are the countries right now, other than India, who are facing the wrath of the emergence of China. They are flexing the muscles. there is definitely a lot of resentment in Africa and also amongst the African community because of the racial abuse. Now, how Africa is going to carry forward is again a matter of debate because Africa is deeply dependent on China for all their aids and their assistance in every field. As you know, the diplomatic corps has been given adequate powers. There is a wolf warrior diplomacy that has been executed by all their diplomats. From talking soft language, they are talking aggressively. There are economic threats which have been made to various countries like Australia, Europe, Nepal in very recent past, which is people are very quiet about. And you are all aware of the lovely Chinese ambassador Hu Yangshi's influence in engineering the political happenings in Nepal and also taking Nepal away from the friendship with India. Now, these are the opportunities for China to emerge as the sole superpower by 2049. Obviously, there's going to be opposition from the USA. Now, what we call, in other words, is Thucydides trap. It is when the clashes take place between one established power with an emerging power. In this case, the established power is US and the emerging power is China. Similar situation has been witnessed in World War I and II when Germany was emerging as a new power. Now, is this what we are leading to World War III? But if it is going to be World War III, is it going to be the manner in which we have seen in World War I and II? It is going to be destruction, or is it going to be a different power other than war? Economic battle, diplomatic battle, and in this case, a pandemic to put the world looking inwards while they use this opportunity. It is like a cornered wolf when it was attacked from all sides. That was the dragon. That was, they started carrying out all these belligerent activities in and around them. Whether it was ramming of the boats in the South China Sea and claiming and flying aircrafts into the airspace of Taiwan, all these activities that they carried out, and even threatening Japan, all these activities that they carried out, once again was a precursor to what was to come as far as India is concerned. Regionally, their influence has been most felt in the recent past against Nepal. KP Oli government, which is a communist government, this has come completely under the influence of China. It started with the Madhesi uprisings, wherein India was tacit support was there in 2015. And right now, they have made their claims to shift the existing tri-junction between China, Nepal and India, which was so far in a place called Tinkerlipu, going further east of the Lipu Lake Pass. What is important of Lipu Lake Pass for us is also it is a route for all our Kailas Mansarovar Yatris. This Kalapani River, Lipu Lake, now they are claiming almost 372 square kilometers, right up to a place called Limpiadhura. And this entire triangle, it is going to change the borderline in case it is to be given. But what is important is at the speed at which they carried out the activities, taking the approval of their parliament. Yet another concern is Maldives, wherein the Fenul Islands have been taken by them on a lease for up to 2016. For this is entirely over 100,000 square kilometers for a merely amount of $4 million. Pakistan, it's a policy of wait and watch. They're still reading under what has happened after Article 370. The bifurcation of J&K has taken them by surprise. They themselves are battling COVID. Most of the data that comes out in the open media, to my mind, is quite false. They themselves have much more casualties. We had done an analysis here in the headquarters. We found that there are a large number of cases, they are not even being reported. They are all being hidden. because they don't have a decent procedure for tests. CPEC is yet another challenge. While they're in the process of completing the CPEC, but they have their internal problems, in particular in Balochistan and Gilgit-Baltistan. So they will never talk about what China is doing because they're getting the tremendous amount of assistance in COVID. It has kind of become a vessel state in terms of economy and the military assistance. They are right now not speaking much. Perhaps they're following the policy of wait and watch. As far as we are concerned, we are also waiting and observing. We all in Southern Command, we are just waiting. The moment in case of any crisis that emerges the other side, we will be ready to react to that. Now we talk about the other two nations of ours, the bordering nations of Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. There is a gradual economic and military assistance which is being rendered by China. However, Bhutan, which is a very friendly country, it is being the victim of their policy of salami slicing. They already had claimed 2 unsettled land boundaries. However, that was in the west of China, west of Bhutan and north of Bhutan. But now they have started making new claims towards east of Bhutan, which is contiguous to Arunachal Pradesh. The Indian Ocean region, you all are well aware of the string of pearls policy. Right now there is an enhanced naval presence for protection of the sea lines of communication of China. Now we are coming on to the bilateral influences between India and China. Now today, India is emerging as a linchpin of the anti-China movement as far as the regional dynamics are concerned. While China is emerging, so is India. India is today a renowned regional power. We also have the aspirations of becoming a world power. We have a strong leadership today, a stable government, and we are, as a nation, gaining international popularity because of our contributions in the COVID times. We've been seen as a spearhead of the world against the battle against Corona, as well as the unification against the China. We already are a member of the Quad, comprising Australia, Japan, US, and India. And in addition to that, we are an emerging power in the Asia Pacific region and also an important player in the international power play. There have been a movement of move out of the large number of companies who are shifting bases out of China. We are winning many of them, but unfortunately our progress, our success has not been very many. We've had to our success evacuation of 324 Indians from Wuhan when it was severely affected by the COVID. We were successful in warding off the Chinese threat in Sikkim in the Doklam Valley in 2017. Post that success, the similar story has almost happened in 2020. Galwan Valley, Hot Spring and Fingers. Very recently you have all been observing the ongoings there. We have once again stood up to China. And we have stood up to China with strength and matching him strength for strength. While we do not intend to seize territory of any of our neighboring nations, but we will not allow any belligerence against us to be accepted. It is indeed a peaceful rise of our nations. It's an economic rise, catering for the inclusive growth. And we have no greed as a country or any other's territory. To our credit, we have WHO chair today. We are a member of the UN Security Council and we have formed new alliances and it's an ongoing process, whether it is USA, even Russia in the recent times because of the military hardware that we have picked up from them, African nations, most of the countries of the European Union, particularly Britain and France, and a large number of countries in the Islamic world. In fact, despite the endeavor of Pakistan, they have not been successful in taking away our support in the Islamic world for India. Internally, so far, we have been battling the challenges. While we've been battling the challenges of COVID, we've also sought opportunity. We have fought it off well so far. There are a large number of challenges, but at the same time, while we are battling the challenge, we are also battling alongside the father of COVID. Our handling of the COVID has been appreciated all over the world. You are aware of WHO statement appreciating the containment in Dharavi. India, despite having had more than 8 lakh infected, the number of deaths have been minimal, barely little more than 2%. That is a very good news for us. Economic slowdown has been adequately absorbed. Socio-economic and political challenges are being met head-on. However, one of the major drawbacks that we've had is the labor migration. Hopefully, when the reverse migration happens in near future, we should be able to manage it better. For that, a lot of coordination will be required. We have adorned the global and regional leadership as far as medical equipment is concerned. The Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana, that is a Make in India, that is gradually gaining momentum, and it is going to be a success story. From being totally dependent for the PPE and the ventilators, today we are the second largest producer of PPE, hydrochloroquines, and the ventilators ourselves. The testing and the vaccination, we are once again the leader in this field as well. And Pune itself has a success story in this regard. We have a stable government. There is no dearth of resources. And the management of the resources has been also commended. There have been peaks, there have been troughs, but despite the large population, a very poor population, we have managed it well so far. And I am sanguine that economic recovery, although slow, it will be steady. Fortunately, this year too, we are facing a good monsoon. We are cautioned, very apprehensive. We are gradually opening up our travel industry, the rail, construction, road, air, and the infrastructure industry. Hopefully, that will also be getting back to life as soon as we are able to bring the rise to a plateau. I would like to talk a little about Indian Army. There has been a debate that we must cut down on our defense budget. The debate about gun versus the bread has been particularly in the limelight when this crisis was being handled. However, now you have seen how important it is for us to look after both the gun and the bread. We have to invest in defense. It is only the security which can give us the power. You look at many countries, small and rogue countries, even they, because of the strong armed forces, they have lived. They have maintained their character. Let me give you some examples like US, China, India, Iran. These are the countries which have had strong armies. It's because of that they have maintained a very strong nation. Even the rogue countries like North Korea and Pakistan, because of strong armed forces, have ensured that there are no external threats to them. There are many other countries who have not invested enough. They've had weak armed forces, therefore they have got decimated. Countries like Afghanistan, Syria, in Africa itself, whether it's Congo, Sudan, Somalia, these are the examples of the other kind. Eastern Ladakh itself, ladies and gentlemen, we have handled Galwan Valley very well. In fact, all the locations, whether it is Galwan, the hot spring, which is between Gongra and Wenchuan, Pengongso, which we otherwise call it as a fingers area. We've handled it so far very well. Commonly, we call them about patrol points, that is PP14, you must have commonly heard, 14 alpha, 15, 17 alpha. All these locations, they have been so far well handled. The problems have been there earlier also, but this year it was more pronounced. And while a lot of people are questioning whether there was an int failure, my answer would be just one word: no. There was no int failure. The advantage to China is that his infrastructure, his terrain on his side is good and well connected. In our case, the movement of the troops have to be from plains to the high altitude, which requires a mandatory period of 14 days of acclimatization to be conducted. And as far as the belligerence of China is concerned, it has not only been in Chumar, it has been in addition to the location that I've just mentioned to you, it has also been there further south in the areas of Chumar, Demchok. In addition to that, when I was commanding the corps in Sikkim, I had just taken over after the crisis in the South Sikkim, that is the Chumbi Valley. It is in this place, in 2017, we had faced them affront and we had prevented any loss of territory. In fact, it was to our credit that goes that we had defended the land of Bhutan. And similar situations have also been faced in multiple locations in Arunachal Pradesh. That is, you must have heard about places like Yangtze, Fishtail 1, Fishtail 2, and going on further to the valley of Loitraba. Now this time, the situation has come to a peaceful negotiation in 60 days. In the Chumbi Valley incident, which is famously called as the Doklam, it had taken us 73 days. Situation there was also good, but not as violent as it has been today. We have lost 20 of our brave soldiers, but at the same time, we've also given PLA bloody nose. Almost they have lost twice the number of people. It is, there are a lot of debate which goes on, how many people they have lost. They have not made it public. But in our assessment, they have lost people exceeding more than 35. How many are fatal casualties? How many are non-fatal casualties? We don't know yet. While India has gone about announcing the names of the martyrs, and they have, we have completed all their last rites with, as per the military norms. But PLA, neither they have done it in the befitting manner that we have done, but they have kept it under the wraps. We have declared it, but they have chosen not to declare the identity of the dead. So therefore, whether the figures are 35 or 40, it's not known as yet. The peace is gradually returning. Talks have been fruitful. Tomorrow we are expecting yet another talk at the formation level. We are approaching cautiously. We have gone back. We are in the process of going back right from north in the patrolling point 14, that is in the Galwan Valley. We have come back 2 kilometers. They have also gone back. Similarly, as we go down south in the hot spring area, right up to the north bank of Pengang So, there is gradual de-escalation of the threat there. Most of the places we have already gone back to are April 2020 days, except for in the south, where we are making gradual progress. The issue is that they had made certain infrastructure development. Those have got to be dismantled, and this is going to take place. And hopefully, we are going about it in a very phased manner. And I am quite confident that in about a month or so, we should be able to ensure that we go back to our April deployment as we had. While there is a lot that is being talked about the issue of the buffer zone, let me assure you all, notwithstanding what has been talked about in the media, there are a large number of comments being made. But I must assure you, India has not lost an inch of its real estate. Our claims continue. As we have said, It is merely that we have disengaged. We have gone back to locations west and east further to our peace locations, but that does not mean that we have let our claim lines be compromised in this particular incident. There is no question of Indian Army, or for that matter our nation, letting go of the claim, because today we have the strength for strength, and there is no way our Indian soldiers' sacrifice can be allowed to go in vain. I would urge all my esteemed guests today not to believe the large number of negative inputs that keeps coming in the media. We all are victim of large number of false claims, false statements that have been given about territory being given up. I would say, as a senior military leader here, it is not true. It is primarily, there are a large number of cases where it is a psychological operation unleashed upon us by Pakistan and China through their social media and through their rogue media, and some of them the state-run media. And I must thank each one of our citizens. They have stood by the army. You all have been our inspirations. You have supported the armed forces, not only the army, but the entire armed forces. Now, while all this is happening in the Northern Command, you would be wondering, what else is happening? What else is armed forces doing in this pandemic times, other than supporting in terms of manpower, equipment, whatever is required by the people who are battling today in the icy mountains of East Ladakh? What else are we doing? As you know, we are in a political army, the largest volunteer force in the world. We have today the challenges of keeping our men safe, keeping our men away from the infection, our equipment ready for the battle, continuously keeping our men motivated, adequately trained, so that if at the last moment, if there is any threat to our nations, we are ready to face this challenge head on. Who would have expected in the pandemic times for an incident like in Eastern Ladakh to have happened? And very recently, just before the Eastern Ladakh came in, yet another incident, you all are aware, took place in Sikkim. We met it head on. And similarly, if there is any challenge which will be coming about our way in the opposite our western borders, we are ready to face them head on. And I can assure you that you will not find your army wanting in any way. While we are keeping our men safe and equipment ready for the battle, our surveillance of our operational areas is ready 24/7, what we call as our intelligence surveillance grid. We are ready at the Pak border. We are continuously keeping our vigil up, and similarly is the situation in the entire border with China. We have additional forces ready for the battle, and we should be able to take any emergency situation as and when required. In addition to that, wherever we are, there are a large number of cantonments, there are a large number of military stations in the entire South India. At this moment, I must tell you, Southern Command is responsible for 40% of the land mass of India. We are feeding the poor wherever it is possible. And most of the places we are conducting large number of blood donation camps. Because of the pandemic times, it is the Indian Army which is offering their troops for the blood donation camps, because at least one thing is sure, that all our troops are free of the infection. In addition to that, you are aware that as the season is changing, we are keeping ourselves ready for all the natural calamities. We have created 16 military hospitals ready for looking after as and when our assistance is sought by the civil administration. In addition to that, we have also catered for creating isolation facilities at several places, all the cities under my area of jurisdiction, including in Pune, Mumbai, and all other important cities of South India. And there is no city which has not catered for these additional facilities. and also in addition to the isolation facilities, quarantine facilities, and also to give you emergent requirement in case of eventualities, we should be able to take care of as many patients as the government wants us to take. We've taken care of the evacuees from various foreign countries like Iran, Kuwait, Oman, and many other countries. Under the Operation Samudra Setu, Indian Navy has evacuated almost 4,000 people from countries like Maldives, Iran, Sri Lanka, Bahrain, and Oman. Indian Air Force on its part has been moving resources, medical support from one location to another location. Not only that within the country, but they're also doing so for the neighboring countries. Evacuations of the Indians have been taken on from the neighboring countries. Assistance has been provided to Nepal and Maldives. And we are here in Pune, we are treating police personnel. The numbers are not very many, but there are a large number of police personnel and civilian government officials who are being treated in the hospital that has been created by Indian Army and the DGMS, the medical services in Delhi itself. We are also manufacturing masks and PPEs which have been distributed amongst the less fortunate. As regards Southern Command is concerned, we have a number of stations. We have nearly 3 lakh of troops under the Southern Command. If you draw a line from Rajasthan, that is north of Jaisalmer, half of Madhya Pradesh, right up to the entire boundary of Telangana and the entire area south of it is under the area of jurisdiction of Southern Command. Large number of officers have been connected to Pune very intimately. We have majority of the officers, I myself am an ex-NDA, so we have a special bonding and love for Pune. In addition to that, you also are aware that we have a large number of schools of instructions like CME, the AFMC, the Army Armored Schools Center and School, the MIRC, the BEG Center, School of Military Intelligence, School of PT, and National Integration School as well as Sports Institute. They're all there, and there are a large number of other institutions. They're not only there in Pune, but they're also there in the rest of the cities and the entire area of responsibility of Southern Command. We have large cantonment and large populations, and important formations are billeted in Pune itself. And as I can see through the windows, I can see a large number of my veteran colleagues are respected veterans who are part of this gathering today. And other than them also, I'm sure all the Puneites are aware that the contributions that our veteran officers who are settled here are doing, whose numbers are just next to Delhi and Chandigarh. We are the major stakeholders and important part of Pune. And from Southern Command itself, we have dispatched about 150 doctors, 50 nursing officers, and 30 nursing assistants who have been sent to Delhi to man these institutions, man these hospitals that have been created. In addition, we've also sent another 80 odd people there. Here the AFMC has so far done almost 12,000 plus tests for COVID. In addition to that, we just got the CH Pune, the Command Hospital Pune, where we have created the testing facilities. We have so far tested 2,300, and the numbers are increasing day by day. The MHCTC, the Thoracic Center, the Artificial Limb Center, who all Puneites are well aware, they are ready to absorb more number of patients as and when the requirement is. Very recently, I conducted a webinar to create awareness to battle COVID, as also very importantly, because most of our troops are in the isolated zones, they are hyperactive. Because they have been sitting idle, there was a challenge to take care of their mental health. There have been large number of cases of people going into depression. I have to keep them motivated, busy, and active. We've also given quick reaction medical teams and COVID response teams. They're all ready at various locations. We've been distributing food and medical items and essential other items to the needy. And as and when we will be faced with a calamity, God forbid, we will be ready to help our beloved citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, dear Rotarians, it has been pleasure and honor speaking to you. And thank you very much for your patient listening. And I can assure you, we, the Indian Army and the Armed Forces, and in particular, your friendly neighborhood, the Southern Command, is there with you, always by your side. We are proud of our citizens, and I'm sure we have your support all the time. Thank you, and Jai Hind.
Will that ever happen?
I must appreciate very intelligent question and very interesting question, Mr. Ravi. Yes, while it is not in our interest that Pakistan should disintegrate. You are well aware of it. We already have adequate problems coming in, and once it disintegrates, it is going to be a problem not only for India, it is also going to be a problem for the world. After all, it has been the mother base for all the terrorism in the world, and once they are unleashed, being a nuclear state, if they go in for the balkanization, whether it is in Khyber Pakhtunistan, whether it is in Gilgit-Baltistan, or it is in the area of Baluchistan, all these bases, in case the secession continues, it is going to be extremely difficult for them to hold on. Right now, they're battling corruption. The COVID has done a lot of damage to them. Whatever they're talking in the open media is not true. You know that it is army which is holding the nation together. It is good or bad. It is unfortunately it happens to be the army which is calling the shots and actually governing the country indirectly. So therefore, they will try their best to ensure that the country does not disintegrate. And it is also, like I said, it is in our interest that we do not have a completely disintegrated, balkanized Pakistan. So therefore, as far as Pakistan army is concerned, their survival, their unity, their position in the country lies in continuing with the animosity against India. It is their main mantra of survival. And as long as they want to be relevant in the society, they will continue to do so. And given the amount of money that has been pumped into the defense, in fact, very recently you may be aware that they have gone in for an increase in the pay and allowances, despite the economic downturn during the times of COVID. But army will call the shots. Yes, I agree with you. After the connection of the road access through the CPEC. CPEC itself is not merely the road access. There are multiple infrastructure development that are taking place, in which Pakistan Armed Forces and particularly Army is a major stakeholder. So therefore, China will ensure that Pakistan does not disintegrate. And yet another thing I would like to say, even if that happens, yes, the challenge for us is to find a seamless border. Right now, we've been talking about two-front border. That is the western front and the northern front. Northern front when we talk about China, but gradually because of the connectivity, we will be sometime be forced to fight it as a seamless border. Pakistan Army and the Pakistan Army and the PLA is concerned, it is going to remain. And as far as I look at it, they will ensure that the disintegration does not take place.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Any other questions? Are there any other questions?
This is Hari.
Zarir would like to speak.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Can I speak, sir?
Yes, please go ahead. We can't hear you.
I have an observation to make. There has been an internet crisis. China
Your voice is
has
breaking.
international crisis.
I could identify the speaker, sir.
Whenever there has been, whenever there has been, whenever there
Your
has been
voice
an
is breaking.
international
We can't hear you
crisis,
clearly.
Okay, now you're audible, sir. Please try again. Mr. Zarir?
Probably.
Meanwhile, if there is anyone else who wants to ask me any question.
Can I speak, please?
Yes, ma'am.
A very good evening to you, sir. We've heard a wonderful talk from you, very informative, and enjoyed the entire speech that you've given us in talk. What I would like to ask you is, during this COVID crisis, why can the army not take a initiative in having more vigilance and a little more control on the people of our nation?
Ma'am, very good question. In fact, this is one question I would have prepared myself for that. This is one question. It is not only, it also comes to my mind, if not others' mind. But you see in our country's system, we are, it's a more to do with the management issue. As far as army is concerned, we only step in when we are requisitioned. It is a more of an organizational constraint than a shortfall in our capacity or in our willingness. We are for the nation, we are for the citizens. And you've seen us in the calamities. Wherever we've been asked to do something, we have done it. But at the, while we have the capacity, there has been no requisition. On our will, on our own, in case we start doing things, it has a, there is always an issue, there is always an apprehension. We should not be seen as interfering with the business of the local administration or the civil administration or the state government. So that is where, and the policy is that once we are requisitioned, our assistance is sought formally. That is the time you'll find us not putting 100% of our energy, but much more than that.
Thank you so much, but I really wish it would be the other way around. Thank you.
Mr. Zarir, I hope, yes, could he come back to you?
Zarir's connection doesn't seem to be allowing him to talk right now.
Sir, we could do one thing. I'm just for the audience. If he could be requested to relay his question to somebody else, I could answer that.
Yeah, let's try that.
Meanwhile, I'll take any other question.
Anyone is Bharat? There is.
Yeah, go on. Deepak?
Is there anyone to ask question? Otherwise, we'll ask. We'll go ahead with.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. May I call upon Rotarian Colonel K. Vishwanathan to propose a vote of thanks. Over to Colonel Vishwanathan.
President Deepak Londe, fellow Rotarians, aunts, spouses, and guests. I'm going to propose vote of thanks today on two counts. First, for the Army Commander coming here to address us today. He has helped us maintain our tradition of July. Every July, first Monday, we have an important event of installation of the new president and his board of directors. And the second Monday always is the army commanders talk to our members. So thank you, sir, for the maintaining the first tradition. And that also in the present COVID scenario on not physical, but through the electronic media. The second one, we could see that the army commander was very knowledgeable in history and the world pandemic and COVID in particular. He talked of the generally of the powers in US and Europe and what we can expect after some time. What was very interesting was the timeline of the Chinese expansionist activities. We are now, and we also talked about how the army is prepared. We are now wiser, fully confident, and can take the challenges when the opportunity comes. You brought out a very pertinent point that we have been so far not fully prepared the armed forces in terms of equipment. We have always been very slow on that. And there is a need that we must invest in our defense preparedness because only security will let the nation move forward. Very good point. The media's negative aspect also was a very good point we should all remember because we are bombarded every day through all media, whether it is a television, WhatsApp, whatever it is, all negative. And very rarely do you happen to get the correct perspective of what has happened. The Galwan Valley is one example because for about 10 days we've been listening to all sorts of, and on the same day, two different channels will give you two different things. What is very reassuring for us is confidence that the armed forces, and particularly the Southern Command, is fully motivated and prepared to help us. So let me thank you, sir, for this wonderful talk on my own behalf and on behalf of the Rotary Club of Pune. Thank you and good day.
Thank you very much, Rotarians. Jai Hind.
Thank you. I declare the meeting is closed.